Alright, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt trapped? Not in a physical sense, but trapped by a digital identity? Maybe it's a social media handle you cringe at, a username you regret, or, perhaps, an email address that just doesn't fit anymore. Today, we're diving deep into a question that's been buzzing in the digital sphere. Can you change your Gemini email? We live in a world where our online presence is almost as important as our physical one. Our email, in particular, acts as a digital passport, a gateway to countless services, and a reflection of our professional or personal brand. So, naturally, the desire to update or change it is perfectly understandable. But with the ever-evolving landscape of AI and platforms like Gemini, things aren't always straightforward. Before we get into the specifics, let's understand why this question even matters. For many, an email address is more than just a string of characters. It's tied to years of communication, crucial documents, and countless accounts. Changing it can feel like rewriting a part of your digital history. And with AI platforms like Gemini, which are deeply integrated into Google's ecosystem, the implications are even more profound. Imagine this: you initially signed up for Gemini with a personal email, perhaps one you created back in your college days. Now, you're using Gemini for professional purposes, and that old email address just doesn't cut it. Or maybe you've decided to consolidate your online identity and want everything under one unified email. These are just a few scenarios where changing your Gemini email becomes a necessity. But here's the catch: Gemini, as a product of Google, is intricately linked with your Google account. So, the question of changing your Gemini email is essentially a question of changing your Google account email. And that's where things get a bit complex. Let's break down the mechanics. Your Google account, and by extension your Gemini access, is tied to a primary email address. This email serves as your login, your recovery point, and the central hub for all your Google services. Now, Google does allow you to add alternate email addresses, but these are not the same as changing your primary email. They act more like aliases, allowing you to be reached through different addresses, but your primary email remains the core identity. So, can you directly change your primary Google account email, and thus your Gemini email? The answer is a bit nuanced. Yes, you can change your primary email, but with certain limitations and conditions. First, you can only change your primary email to another Gmail address if you initially signed up with a non-Gmail address. If you signed up with a Gmail address, you cannot change it to another Gmail address. This is a fundamental aspect of Google's account structure. If you did sign up with a non-Gmail address, here's how you can attempt to change it. Access your Google account. Log into your Google account through a web browser. Navigate to Personal Info. In the left navigation panel, click on Personal Info. Find the email section. Scroll down until you find the email section. Select Google Account Email. Click on Google Account Email. Follow the prompts. Google will guide you through the process, which will involve verifying your identity and choosing a new Gmail address. However, keep in mind that this process is not always seamless. There are several factors that can complicate things. One major hurdle is the sheer integration of your Google account across various services. Changing your primary email can affect everything from your Google Drive access to your YouTube subscriptions. You'll need to update your login information across all Google platforms. Another consideration is the potential disruption to third-party services that rely on your Google account for authentication. If you've used sign-in with Google on other websites, changing your primary email might require you to update your login credentials on those platforms as well. Furthermore, if your Google account is associated with a business or organization, changing the primary email might have implications for shared resources and collaboration tools. It's crucial to communicate any changes with your team or organization to avoid disruptions. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why doesn't Google allow users to change their primary Gmail address to another Gmail address? The answer lies in the fundamental architecture of Google's account system. Each Gmail address is unique and serves as a permanent identifier. Allowing users to change it would create a logistical nightmare, potentially leading to account conflicts and security vulnerabilities. However, this doesn't mean you're completely stuck with your current Gmail address. There are a few workarounds you can consider. Create a new Google account. If you absolutely need a different Gmail address, the simplest solution is to create a new Google account. You can then transfer your data, such as contacts and documents, to the new account. However, this is a time-consuming process and might not be feasible for everyone. Use email forwarding. If you just want to receive emails at a different address, you can set up email forwarding. This allows you to receive emails sent to your old address at your new address. Utilize alternate email addresses. As mentioned earlier, you can add alternate email addresses to your Google account. These addresses can be used for receiving notifications and recovering your account. Now, let's bring it back to Gemini. How does all of this relate to your Gemini experience? Well, since Gemini is deeply integrated with your Google account, any changes you make to your Google account will affect your Gemini access. If you change your primary email, you'll need to use the new email address to log into Gemini. If you create a new Google account, you'll need to sign into Gemini with the new account. It's also important to note that any data or settings associated with your old Google account might not automatically transfer to your new account. You might need to manually transfer data or reconfigure settings. In essence, changing your Gemini email is not a simple task. It requires careful consideration and planning. You need to weigh the benefits against the potential disruptions and ensure that you understand the implications of changing your Google account email. Moreover, the increasing integration of AI platforms like Gemini into our daily lives highlights the importance of managing our digital identities effectively. As AI continues to evolve, we can expect to see even greater integration of services and data, making it even more crucial to have a clear and consistent online presence. The topic of digital identity is constantly evolving. As AI and online services become more intertwined, the ability to manage our digital footprints will become increasingly important. So, to summarize, can you change your Gemini email? Technically, yes. If you signed up with a non-Gmail account, you can change your primary email to a Gmail address. However, if you signed up with a Gmail account, you cannot change it to another Gmail. There are also workarounds like alternate emails, new accounts, and forwarding. Always consider the potential impact on your other Google services and third-party integrations. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.